Hello, everyone. How art thou? Please come in, my darlings. Woo! A lot going on today, personally for me, but we are here together now. We are here together right now. Let me give it a couple moments. Let people come on in. Please come in and like the stream. Come join us. We're going to look into some things tonight. I'm going to share with you all some things that I found out myself. All right, so come on in. Let me get myself comfortable. Let me get myself a snack. Oh, excuse me. Let me get myself a snack. And we're going to get started. All right. I have some pumpkin seeds. Delicioso. I'm trying to make sure I get my protein in. Let me say hello to everyone. Okay, our good sis Empress is here. Hey girl, how you doing? Sweet Ace Silhouette. Hey girl, how you doing? Sleepy B here. Hey girl, how you doing? Sexy RN. Hey girl, how you doing? Ultraviolet, aka CN1. Hey girl, how you doing? I hope y'all are good. Let me get my, you gotta make sure you watch your portion sizes. Listen. Let me just open this bag on up because that's the end of these sunflower seeds. I mean, pumpkin seeds. I'm so sorry y'all hear me getting my pumpkin seeds together. All right. Hey Robin. Hey girl, how you doing? I'm getting my pumpkin seeds, my pepitas. I'm getting them together. Getting my pumpkin seeds together. So listen, what we're going to discuss today is something that I kind of started researching earlier this year, but I didn't really continue to pull on the thread because let me just close this. And I didn't really continue pulling on the thread until the other day. So the other day, I was listening to something on Twitter. No, I wasn't listening to something on Twitter. The other day, I was reading on Threads. And I came across something that really piqued my interest. So when you see something that piques your interest, you do what? You start researching. So I went down the rabbit hole. And by the time that I escaped from the mini rabbit hole, I was like, I knew, but I didn't know. And I'm even more so convinced that so many things happening and going on right now, and even in the past, and part of the path that we are on as far as citizens of the United States, is it's wild, esoterically, spiritually, energetically. So the premise is the United States, one, truly is or was founded pagan wise. right? The United States truly was founded pagan wise. Don't let these people play in your face and say that this is a Christian nation. No, the wool has been pulled over people's eyes. And like I said, some of the things that I may show you tonight, maybe you knew, maybe you didn't know, but like I knew, but I didn't know, right? So let me say again, the United States, at its founding, very esoteric and pagan, right? Based on many different gods, right? So we're going to get into that tonight. So if this topic interests you, you want to see what I found, please stick around. Please stick around. Hey, it's Soft Place to Land. How you doing? So let's get into it. Let me start sharing my screen. So if you all want to know the basis of the thumbnail, we have to start with not this. We have to start here. And my neighbor is texting me, girl, what you want? We have to start here. No, where's the other one? We have to start here. So let me share the screen. And I'm starting here for a reason. Let me share the screen. Okay. And this is a stream that you can kind of, cook or relax, kind of peek in every now and then. So, what is the basis of the thumbnail? The thumbnail is a statue that is on the Washington State Capitol canvas. Okay. And this is the picture here. And this is the picture. This is the picture. So I want you all to take a look at this. In 1 second, everyone, 1 second. Okay, I'm so sorry. Mr. Hoodoo came in and he brought food. So, yes, I'm currently eating a rib right now. Okay. But if we look at this, no. Mm-mm. Hey, Mock. Yeah, Mr. Hoodoo just brought back ribs, half of a chicken, grilled chicken, a burrito. He just brought all his food in, so I need a rib. No, that is not Archangel Michael. That is not Archangel Michael. That is the Roman goddess Victoria. Okay? So here. This is winged victory. This statue features Nike, the Greek goddess of victory. Okay. And the Greek goddess of victory, Nike. So when you wear your Nike shoes are named after Greek goddess victory. Okay. And one day I'll have a stream about all of the companies that use pagan esoteric symbolism in their in their advertising and stuff, but that's not today. This is Winged Victory. This statue features Nike, the Greek goddess of victory, and honors Washington State soldiers who lost their lives during World War One. Okay, this is at the Washington State Capitol campus. Okay, the monument was completed in 1938. The main feature is a 12-foot tall statue of the famous Nike of Samothrace, the Greek goddess of victory at war. Okay. Okay. It also faces east. Okay. This is what this is. Okay. This is what this is. Okay. Now, why is this important? I'm going to show you why this is important. Okay. I'm going to show you why. Okay. And let me just go here too so everyone can see. Let's share this tab instead. Okay. So Victoria is the Roman goddess of victory, representing triumph in war and peace, and is the counterpart to Greek goddess Nike. Okay. She is the personification, the deified personification of victory. Okay. Let's go here. Let's make this a little bit bigger so everyone can read along together. Okay, let me make this a little bit bigger so we can all read along together. Okay, we are on the Britannica website. Victoria in Roman religion, personification of victory, the equivalent of Greek goddess Nike. She was often associated with Jupiter, Mars, and other deities, and was especially worshipped by the army. In later times, she had 3 or 4 sanctuaries in Rome, including a temple on the Palatine Hill and an altar in the Senate House. Okay? So this is what we're reading. Okay? Why is this important? We're going to keep building. We're going to keep building. Let's keep building. Okay, let me get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this page. All right. That's Victoria mythology. Okay. Okay. Let me find my page. 1 second. I have all these pages up. Okay. So we gotta go. We gotta go down all of it. Okay. So now let's go here. Let's share this tab. Okay. Palatine Hill. Palatine Hill. Let's go look at Wikipedia real quick. Okay. Palatine Hill. Can everyone see? Okay, everyone can see. Palatine Hill, which is relative to the seven hills of Rome, is the centermost, is one of the most ancient parts of the city. It has been called the first nucleus of the Roman Empire. Okay. Okay. So we're reading there. So if you go to, let's go here. Okay. Encyclopedia Britannica, Palatine Hill, four-sided plateau, blah, blah, blah. The city of Rome was founded on the Palatine. Okay. Okay. Palatine. Now, let's see here. During the ancient Republican era, many temples and houses of leading citizens were built on the Palatine, and during the Roman Empire, it became the city's aristocratic quarter. Okay. All right. Now, this was the Palatine Hill was part of the Roman Forum. Roman Forum, most important forum in ancient Rome, situated on low ground between the Palatine and Capitoline Hills. The Roman Forum was the scene of public meetings, law courts, and gladiatorial combats in Republican times, lined with shops and open air markets. Okay. All right. Does anyone see where I'm going with this? And yes, I'm eating my rib. Okay. Palatine and Capitoline Hills. Okay. Well, let's see. Palatine and Capitoline Hills. Okay. Let's go here. Let's go here. All right. So Capitoline Hill, let's go here. Okay. Let me make it bigger so everyone can see. The Capitoline Hill, okay, Capitoline Hill, is the most important and enchanting of the seven hills on which Rome was founded. On which Rome was founded. So I say to myself, Q, I say, self, Capitoline Hill, that sounds real familiar. Why does that sound familiar? Let's go to this here tab here. Capitol Hill in the United States based on Palatine Hill. This is what I was searching. Okay, just a little AI overview. Capitol Hill in DC was named by Thomas Jefferson and designed by Pierre Charles L'Enfant to emulate Rome's Capitoline Hill. Not Palatine Hill, Capitoline Hill, because remember, we just saw that there's two of them. Okay, the Roman Forum that was Palatine and Capitoline Hills. Okay, so Capitol Hill in Washington, District of Columbia, was named by Thomas Jefferson and designed by Pierre Charles L'Enfant to emulate Rome's Capitoline Hill, serving as a symbolic pedestal for the U.S. Capitol building. Okay, let's go here. Historic district. Okay, let's go here. We just looking. We just looking. What better way to start the comparisons between Rome and Washington, D.C. than at the center of it all, Capitol Hill? In Rome, it's called Capitoline Hill or Capitolium in the original Latin, and Campidoglio in the modern Italian. Ancient Rome was famously settled around seven hills. Although the Capitoline was the smallest, it was the symbolic center of the ancient city, both spiritually and politically. In the United States, Capitol Hill is where? Capitol Hill is in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is the political center nexus of the United States. So I said to myself, okay, what else can we find out? What else can we find out? And I'm going to show you what else I found out. Let's go here. We are here on a site called Antiquity America. And this picture right here is a view, okay, Washington City, Washington, D.C. Okay. Let's go a little bit further. Antiquity in America's capital. Okay. Antiquity in America's capital. Let's move this up here. Let's make it bigger so everyone can see. Even before Americans were collecting antiquities, our founding fathers sought to recreate the ancient world in America by making Washington, D.C. a new Rome on the Potomac. A new Rome on the Potomac, because Capitoline Hill in Rome was the seat and it was the nexus of everything, political stuff. It had a bunch of temples and everything like that. So the founding fathers, who were Freemasons, most of them were Freemasons. So the founding fathers of the United States, who were Freemasons, sought to recreate the ancient world in America by making Washington, D.C. a new Rome on the Potomac. They also built a capital city that first echoed ancient Rome and then later Athens Okay, Greek. So Roman Greco. hmm In its architecture, sculpture, and painted interiors. Okay. The project began around 1791 with the selection of a site and a Roman influenced urban plan designed by Pierre Charles L'Enfant. Just as Rome sits on a bend in the Tiber River, Washington, D.C. is nestled in the crux of two rivers, now known as the Anacostia and the Potomac. I'm showing you all this because when you hear these people out here, America, fuck yeah, and this is a Christian nation and it's one nation under God and all. No, 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 no. No, ma'am. No, sir. Back it up. The founding fathers, okay, set this was set up to create a new Rome. A new Rome. Not an entirely new country based on Christianity. Not just a new country that's just going to do something new. A new Rome. They copied some of the geography from Rome. So Washington, D.C., okay, all this was planned out. Washington, D.C., its location on the river, copying Rome. Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., named after Capitol Line Hill. Even the spelling is the same. We spell capital Capital. Capitol Hill is Capitol. This is a direct copy, bringing that esoteric pagan energy directly from Rome, because they're making a new Rome, naming where our government nexus is after the nexus of Capitoline Hill in Rome. Okay. Not only adopted systems of government and law from classical, especially Roman world, they also built a capital city that first echoed ancient Rome and then later in Athens in architecture. Ancient Rome ain't got nothing Christian on it. It's nothing but temples. Okay? Nothing but temples. Okay? Nothing but temples. And if you recall in earlier episodes of Esoterica Obscura, right? We covered Wall Street. Wall Street is, the Mercury Venus influences, okay? Paganism, okay? We even looked at what? We looked at the rotunda, right? With George Washington himself, a Freemason, being painted as Zeus, Jupiter, a god himself, with all those other pagan gods, pagan Roman Greco gods in that. They're showing you what they really are. Now let's get into it some more. Let's get into it some more. And we're not going to be here too long tonight. So, one of the things that truly, truly intrigued me was I found, um, and let me go here because I'm going to touch on something here. So let's go back here to Victoria, right? Victoria, the mythology, right? And we're just on Wikipedia. Ancient Roman religion, Victoria was the deified personification of victory. She first appeared during the First Punic War, okay, seemingly as a Romanized renaming of Nike. So I said to myself, what this First Punic War? What that look like? Okay, so let's go here. First Punic War, and we're just I'm just showing you all so that you can understand a lot of what's going on energetically and esoterically, right? The First Punic War was the first of three wars fought between Rome and Carthage. Okay. This is 264 to 241 BC. So this was a long, long, long time ago. This ain't the 1800s. This ain't the 1700s. This is a long, long time ago. For 23 years, the longest continuous conflict and greatest naval war of antiquity, the two powers struggled for supremacy. Okay. And you can see this little picture here, this map here, part of the Punic Wars. You can see this whole Mediterranean area. But this were two powers that struggled for supremacy. The result of this was Roman victory. Okay. The result was Roman victory. Okay. Victoria is the personification of victory. This is a goddess. She comes to symbolize Rome's eventual hegemony and right to rule. So Victoria symbolizes Rome's eventual hegemony and right to rule. The founding fathers of the United States recreated a Rome, which is creation of a Rome, a city in Italy, okay? The capital city of Rome, where the seats of governments and politics was. They created that. That's what Washington, D.C. is. Washington, D.C. is a recreation on Rome. And we just see here that the Victoria goddess, the Roman Victoria goddess, you know, comes to symbolize Rome's eventual hegemony and right to rule. This is directly tied to the United States as a country thinking that they can run everything in this fucking world. This is why we are always in some shit. Remember, if you remember the chart of the founding, the Declaration of Independence chart, 1776, every time I pull it up, what does it have? It has Mars in the seventh house, which is relationships with other people, relationship with other countries. And so what does the United States do? Always fighting. Because why? That energy was imbued into the founding of the United States because Victoria, the Roman goddess of victory, war, and helped, right? Right? We go back here. Roman victory, powers of supremacy, symbolizing Rome's eventual hegemony and right to rule. This is what this is. This is what the United States is. This is what the United States is. Now, remember, because like I said, go back here. Our founding fathers sought to recreate the ancient world in America by making Washington, D.C. a new Rome. Okay. Let's look at this right here. This is from Ghosts of DC, this website, ghostsofdc.org. Mm-hmm. Let's make this a little bit bigger so everybody can see. Washington was originally named Rome, Maryland. Discovered the unique history of Rome and Maryland and its influence on Washington, D.C. from Francis Pope's estate to Tiber Creek's origins. Washington's hidden Roman legacy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just want all of it to sink in. I want it all to sink in for you. Because this is what it is. All this one nation under God, baby. That listen, I'm pulling the receipts now. Let's go to this tab here because we need to get into some things. We need to get into some things. We need to get into some things. So this page that we're on right here, we're on Vatican Hill. Mm-hmm. We're on Vatican Hill. This is just Wikipedia, and we're going to get into why this is important. And like I said, we're not going to be here long, but you better believe this information hit. Okay. Vatican Hill, located on the right bank, west side of the Tiber River, opposite to the traditional seven hills of Rome. The hill also gave name to Vatican City. Okay, I'm going somewhere with this. The ancient Romans had several opinions about the derivation of the Latin word Vaticana. Vaticanus. Okay, so whoever Varro is, a Roman author, connected it to Deus means God, Vaticanus or Vagitanus, a Roman deity. Okay. But we're moving on. We have been told that the word Vatican is applied to the hill and the deity who presides over it. Okay. So, but I'm just like, okay. So we're just looking at this. Okay. I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere. Topography of ancient Rome. Okay. We're going to go down here to here. The Vaticanum, okay, the Vaticanum was also the site of the, and I don't speak Latin and all like that, Sphere Gianum, a temple of the Magna Mater goddess Cybele. I'm going somewhere. I promise I'm going somewhere. Although secondary to this deity's main worship on the Palatine Hill, okay, this temple gained such fame in the ancient world that both Leon and Gaul, okay, and in Mainz, Germany, called their own Magna Mater compounds Vaticanum in imitation. Okay. Remnants of the structure were encountered in the 17th century reconstruction of St. Peter's Square. So, St. Peter's Square and St. Peter's Basilica is built on top of a temple of the Magna Mater goddess, Cybele. Okay. Okay. All of this is paganism. I mean, listen, everybody do what they do or whatever, but yeah, paganism. So when they're talking about um the Christianity and the power of the Vatican, a lot of this is goddess worship. It's paganism, but a lot of it is goddess worship. And I want you all to understand the use of feminine energies to do all types of fuck shit. But yeah, feminine energies to do all types of fuck shit. Let me go back to where's my other tab? Where is my tab? No, we're gonna get into that a little later. Not today. Okay. So yeah, temples of Cybele in Rome. Hmm. Temples of Cybele in Rome. Yeah. So the Vatican, okay, let's go here. The Vatican or Vatican Hill, which became Vatican City, right, is built on this goddess temple, Magna Mater, goddess Cybele. Okay. So all of this is, they're basing things on um Greek culture, mainly Roman culture, right? Because this is Cybele, a mother goddess with a major cult center in Athens and Rome and Ostia. Okay. I'm telling you all this because these are the energies that they have taken to create the United States. But they hide things in plain sight and then tell you something else. Okay? They hide things in plain sight and tell you something else. Now let me go to, I start digging around in so much stuff. I start digging around in a lot of stuff. Um, I started digging around in so much stuff. So, not here. I said to myself, is there is absolutely a Freemason connection to Rome, Italy, and it's moving through that. It's moving through all of that. Okay? It's moving through all of that. And I'm not talking about just regular like, oh yeah, the Freemasons and they go to their little meetings and they do community service. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when it comes to when we're talking about these um influences that do things that the machinations, the plans that present themselves and push themselves on society, right? So I was just like, okay, um, what else do we need to look at? What else? Q, what else did I want to look at? So I was just like, okay, well, what 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 else? Let's go here. So you can see exactly what I Googled. I Googled Statue of Liberty goddess. Because when we're talking about things, United States, Washington, D.C., our seats of power, our seat of power, where the government is, all like that. Statue of Liberty. Don't let them play in your face and tell you that this is, oh, it's just, oh, you know, uh-huh. Yeah. The Statue of Liberty is based on the Roman goddess of freedom and liberty. Okay. They're going to take the energy of what liberty means, but no, that is a goddess standing in New York's harbor. Hey, Fuzzy Boo. That's who she is. That's who she is. Okay. Okay. That's who she is. Okay. And I said to myself, I was just like, self, what else can we find? Well, let's look here. And I've never been to New York. I will go, um, hopefully this year, hopefully this summer, just to go because I've never been. So let's share this Masonic legacy of Lady Liberty. Okay, let's just scroll in. Like I said, I'm just showing you this because, like I said, when they say that the United States is pagan, I mean, when they say the United States is Christian, it's not. It's not. Okay, it's not. Okay. What they fail to teach in school, however, is the Statue of Liberty's Masonic origin and ties to Freemasonry. Okay. Okay. But I wanted to come down to um, the plaque. This is the plaque, the Statue of Liberty's cornerstone plaque featuring the square and compass. Okay. hmm because they make sure to put their mark on things. Okay? They make sure to put their mark on things. Now, let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let me get my tab together. Okay. Share this tab. Okay. So this is from the National Park Service. Okay. Official website of the United States government. National Park Service. Uh-huh. Frederick Auguste Bartholdi. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is according to the National Park Service. So, okay. Now, let's go back here. Let's go back here. Google already has people were already asking these questions. It wasn't just me. So like I said, this is the now. Okay. Mm-hmm. Bartholdi Statue of Liberty. Let's go here. Laying the cornerstone of the Statue of Liberty. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. So I was just like, okay, well, okay. No, Eiffel Tower was designed by a Freemason too. So, Um, yeah. Mm-hmm. So talking about here, it said Bartholdi sailed to America for a celebration here, blah 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 blah. He had his first vision of Statue of Liberty, a goddess holding a torch in one hand, welcoming visitors to the land of freedom and opportunity. This is from the Grand Lodge of Ohio's website. Okay. So I took it even one step forward and I was just like, okay, so what else do we need to or did I need to look at um I was just like, okay, how pervasive is it? How pervasive is it? So as you can see, this is what I had looked up. Who wrote the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay. Because when at least growing up for me in schools, um, the Vatican is not Catholicism. That's what they tell you it is, but it's not. Um, who wrote the Pledge of Allegiance? The Pledge of Allegiance was written by Francis Bellamy, a Baptist minister and Christian socialist. Okay, that's cool. I was just like, Well, let's go here. Was Francis Bellamy a Freemason? So half of these, when we talk about people that have like dual like alliances and things like that, and listen, it's fine, people do what they do, but I just want you all to know and understand. Uh, Grand Lodge of British Columbia and Yukon. Okay. Francis Julius Bellamy, one time Baptist minister and prominent member of the Christian Socialist movement. Christian Socialist movement. Wrote the original USA Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. This is the original words. I pledge allegiance to my flag and the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So this is the original what it is. This is the original what it is, written by a Freemason. So the United States, Washington, D.C., was a copy of Rome, pagan Rome, with our Capitol Hill a direct copy of Capitoline Hill of Rome, with the United States being founded by a lot of Freemasons, with Washington, D.C. originally being called Rome, Maryland, with the main symbol of the United States, or one of the main symbols of the United States, the Statue of Liberty, which is the Roman goddess Libertas, because this was a new Rome, the second Rome, and Rome owed its power and hegemony of the ancient world to their Roman goddess Victoria. And the Pledge of Allegiance, written by a Freemason, because Washington, D.C. was designed and planned out by a Freemason, and the founders were Freemasons, and the Pledge of Allegiance, written by a Christian Freemason. Mm-hmm. With all these pagan things, right? Because remember, I want you all to remember and put all these things together. Remember, we looked at Mickey Mouse, Disney, the Freemason adjacent organization. Mm-hmm. George Washington being deified. George Washington, often called the founding father, the father of the United States. George Washington has been energetically turned into the patron saint of the United States, but he was stylized as Jupiter, aka Zeus. Okay, I want you to think about all of these things. All of these things. Like I said, go back to that Esoterica Obscura when I talked about that. And even with, remember, I talked about in the other episode of Esoterica Obscura, the original Hippocratic oath that doctors were taking. Okay, remember that? We covered that. And how the medical symbol in the United States is actually Mercury, money, not necessarily about health. They switched the symbols out. Okay, they switched the symbols out. But when we're talking about Mercury, we are talking about who? the Roman god of commerce. This is why healthcare is shit here in the United States and is so expensive. One hospitalization can bankrupt so many different people. We talked about Wall Street and the symbolism of seven, the symbolism of the bull in Wall Street. The bull is connected to Taurus, Venus, more goddess or pagan energy. Okay? Understand all of this that understand it all. One more thing before I get out of here. What was it that I wanted to show you? There was something else that I wanted to show you. Oh, real quick, let me get into. So I was looking and I was just like, okay, so what else? What else? What else is going on here? What else is going on here? If Washington D.C. is supposed to be this new Rome, and ancient Rome back then was what? Ancient Rome back then was it was pagan. There were a bunch of temples. Y'all know all them government buildings in DC are replicas of temples, right? Y'all know that, right? Well, if you didn't know, I'm going to show you. We already looked at Capitol Hill. Uh-huh. Let me pull up some of this. Okay, so let me start with here. Let me start with here. Okay, so because we're just gonna run through these real quick. Okay. Let's go here. No, I don't want to become a DC insider. Okay. Like I said, we're just going to run through some things real quick. Visiting the Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C. In Washington, D.C. This gym on the National Mall is dedicated to Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president. Uh-huh. Where is it? Where is it at? Okay, let's just read right here. The location and architecture of the memorial make it stand out among DC's amazing array of monuments and memorials designed by John Russell Pope in 1925. The memorial resembles the Pantheon in Rome. The Pantheon in Rome. The Pantheon in Rome. Pantheon inspired temple. Let's just go back. Pantheon inspired temple. Thomas Jefferson Memorial. modeled after the Pantheon in Rome. Okay. And let's just look here. And this is from the John Adams Institute. So you can see this is the original Pantheon in Rome. This is the original Pantheon in Rome, okay, with obelisk. Gotta have your esoteric obelisk and symbol of penis and other things right here, right? Because the National Mall in Washington, D.C. has an obelisk there as well, right? But this is the original Pantheon in Rome. This is the Thomas Jefferson Memorial. Mhm. Yes, 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 yes. I just want you all to, put all these things together. Hmm. Yeah. And John Russell Pope, who designed the Jefferson Memorial, he also designed the House of the Temple in Washington, D.C., which was the headquarters for the Scottish Rite Freemasonry Southern Jurisdiction. Okay, so what else? What other buildings in DC were um, built uh, like that? Uh huh. Uh huh. Mm-hmm. Let's look at this one. Let's look at this. Let's look at this one. Let's look at this one. Let's look at this one. Which one is it? The let me find it. Let me find it because I got a bunch of bookmarks. I got a bunch of bookmarks. Hold on one second. One second. No, that's my Palantir stuff. And eventually we gotta get the Palantir. Um it's one more. One more that I'm gonna get into, and then we are going to get out of here. Which one is it? Which one is it? Ah, here it is. Here it is. One more, and we're gonna get out of here. One more. Oh no, that's not it. I can't find my bookmark. Can't find my bookmark, but it's one more. It's one more. I promise I'm gonna find it. I promise I'm gonna find it and we can get out of here. Oh, what is it? It's the amphitheater. It's an amphitheater. Oh my goodness. I can't find it. Well, anyway, one of the amphitheaters is like a federal amphitheater. Um, it's one of these federal amphitheaters that is um built just like the Colosseum. Built just like the Colosseum in Rome. It's just like the Colosseum in Rome. And I can't find it right now, which is so lame. But understand that a lot of what we have when it comes to what this country was really founded on, it's not Christian. It was to be a new Rome and to control, do whatever it can to try and control, to try and control. I don't want to say, I don't want to say New World Order, but that is a term that has been thrown around, right? Complete control and takeover. Because remember, we looked at the goddess Victoria. She's what gave power to ancient Rome and Rome's hegemony. And when we're talking about old Greco-Roman society, they was out there doing what? Taking over so much of Europe, okay? And the Mediterranean and all like that. Okay? The founding fathers of this country wanted to duplicate that. If they're duplicating all of this with names and how they design these buildings, okay, they're absolutely wanting to duplicate that with the energetics of taking over and controlling shit. Remember, at the time of, quote unquote, the Revolutionary War, right? The 13 colonies wanted to separate itself from Britain, from England, right? Britain was what? Britain was the global power. Yeah, you had France, you had Spain, you had other countries that, did their colonization in, Africa and all like that. But Britain had Australia, a whole fucking continent as a prison colony. India, Hong Kong, countries in the Caribbean, countries in Africa, Canada, the United States, those 13 colonies. Britain was the world power. By the time you get from Revolutionary War, late 1700s, and then the United States is founded, established, By the time you get to World War II and all those different battles and fights in between, by the time you get to World War II and the United States showing its what supreme war power, fighting with nuclear bombs, the hegemony, the power, the dominance, quote unquote, world power becomes the United States. You have to remember that energetically, everything doesn't move quick, fast, and in a hurry. Sometimes plans are laid and things take that time. It wasn't even 200 years later by the time World War II comes around. So that power was transferred energetically. Okay. We got to also remember that Rome had took over England and all like that too. We have to remember that. Rome took over that too. Okay. Rome and all them was tearing them old Celts up. Okay. So I want you all, and I say that to say, and I'm bringing all of this up because when it comes to what's happening right now with this going on in the Middle East, I want you all to understand that one, the esoteric conversation about it takes 250 years for an empire to crumble. Well, baby, the United States is at its 250 years. And two, if the United States hegemony is going to be over, who's going to be next? Who is going to be next when it comes to quote unquote global domination power? Okay. But like I said, just originally and energetically, United States is New Rome. United States is New Rome. It was founded as New Rome. Washington, D.C. was founded as New Rome. Those buildings. This is why you see all of that as it pertains to look at all these old buildings, these old courthouses and stuff like that. They all look like these old Roman temples. They all look like that. There's a fountain. What is the fountain? There is a fountain. Where's this fountain at? Ah, here it is right here. Here it is right here. Let me bring this over so you all can see. Let me bring this over so you all can see. Okay. So the Court of Neptune fountain at the Thomas Jefferson building. Court of Neptune at the Thomas Jefferson building. The granite semicircular fountain includes multiple bronze sculptures, including Neptune, his tritons, and naiads, nymphs, water nymphs. This is what this is. This is what the United States is. Okay? Yes, it was that one. I think it was that one. I think it was that one. And I'm sorry I wasn't looking at the chat. Yes, okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. Sexy RN. Yes. Yes. That's what that is. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what that is. That's exactly what that is. So we can just go here and see. The Memorial Amphitheater at Arlington National Cemetery, dedicated in 1920, elliptical design reminiscent of an ancient Roman amphitheater. They can't even do anything original. Okay, let's go here. Let's go here and look. I just want you all to look. Of course, the page doesn't want to open. Let's see. Okay, and while we wait for that page to load, but that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what this is. Look at that. That's exactly what this is. It's a coliseum. It's a coliseum. That's exactly what that is. Yeah, that page isn't gonna open. But that's exactly what it is. So, like I said, I just wanted to show you all these things so that you understand. So that you understand what things really are. Okay. I want you all to understand what things really are. Okay. Um, yeah. I want you all to understand what things really are and think about things in energetic and spiritual terms. Think about things and understand. So when they tell you that this is what this is, and this one nation under God, and such and such, no. The Statue of Liberty is a Roman goddess. We just saw Neptune's fountain. These buildings in DC and a lot of these old buildings around the country are temples or designed after temples. Washington, D.C. was used to be called Rome, Maryland. Washington, D.C. and the Capitol Hill, is named after Capitoline Hill in ancient Rome. Okay? Understand all of this. Okay? Don't forget George Washington as don't forget, do not forget this right here. Don't forget the apotheosis of Washington. We talked about this. The apotheosis of George Washington at the Capitol, the Capitol building, the Capitol building at Capitol Hill. Okay. Okay, apotheosis of Washington. George Washington rising to the heavens in glory, flanked by female figures representing liberty and victory slash fame. We talked about this. We talked about this. Remember, the word apotheosis means literally the raising of a person to the rank of a god or the glorification of a person as an ideal. George Washington became a national icon, okay, with the gods, war, Neptune, commerce, Mercury, Vulcan, agriculture, Ceres. This is where the word cereal comes from. The word cereal comes from Greco-Roman goddess Ceres, goddess of agriculture. Okay? This is George Washington and his Freemasonry regalia with all these gods and goddesses around him. Okay? Never forget. Okay? Never forget. This is what all this is. That's exactly why presidents, we talked about this before, when United States presidents die, they lay in state under this rotunda. So I just wanted to share all of this with you all. I just wanted to share all of this with you all. Understand the layering and the energetics of the shit. It goes deep. It goes deep. And understand that when soldiers go off to war and they die, all of this is a ritual. This is human sacrifice ritual. Okay? Human sacrifice ritual. Human sacrifice ritual. So, this was Esoterica Obscura, episode 7. Just showing you things in plain sight and showing you the energetics of things. Because when people, and understand how patriotism, as far as the United States goes, becomes a cult. Patriotism, as far as the United States goes, it becomes a cult. You're a patriot. Well, if you don't like this, then you're anti-American. Well, if you don't like this, you're anti-American. You're a hater. You hate this country, baby. This shit is a cult. Okay? This shit is a cult. It's a cult. Well, if you don't like this, you don't support our troops. Baby. The people out there going out there and dying in the wars fighting for this country, baby, this is just a bunch of human sacrifice. It's a bunch of human sacrifice. And the energetics around all of this shit is pagan. Like I said, you do whatever you do with your spiritual practice and all like that. Okay? But just understand that they be trying to be like, oh, the United States is for Christians. Or, oh, well, we need to get these Muslims out of here. Baby, the United States is pagan. The United States is pagan. So, with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I love y'all. I'll probably come back tomorrow. If not tomorrow, if not Wednesday, then Thursday. But yeah, I just wanted to share with y'all. So something for y'all to think about when you're seeing all of this stuff, you know, seeing what's going on. I want you all to think about everything that's going on, all of this in the term of energetics and esoterics, because that's what this is. It's energetics, it's esoterics, it's a cult, and when I say a cult, I mean a cult as in things that are hidden. Okay, because they don't come out and tell you that the Statue of Liberty is a goddess standing in New York City. They don't come out and tell you that. They just tell you that, you know, the Statue of Liberty, you know, yeah, immigrants come, right? That's what they tell you. They don't come out and tell you that DC was Rome and it was planned to be the new Rome. They just tell you that this is where the government is, blase, blase, blase. Okay? All right, y'all. I'm going to get out of here. Mm-hmm. I'm going to see y'all later. Y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of your families. I'm going to see y'all on the flip side.